Eleni, sometimes you'd be thinking, I wonder where that thought being of the coming from. I wonder where I received that information. Where was that coming from? And you might be experiencing as you are moving about in your in existence that you are receiving these little of the sparks, these little of the epiphanies, these little of these messages, or what you might consider of an insight, or some of the awareness, and you are thinking to yourself, oh, well, that was the being of the unusual, and that just sort of being and popping into my of the head. And this popping in of the head is the messages that you are being of the receiving. So when you are being in of the thinking of this, be in of the tuning in to be of the receiving more of this of the information, more of this of the messages. And know that many of this is coming from your mentor, not just from popping in of the head, not just...
Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance, and we have Marcusbird. Hey, Marcus.
Hi, Eleni. Hey, great to be here.
Great
Yay.
to have you and your beautiful spirit mentor, Ameed. I'm very excited about what galactic information is going to hit us today. So, yeah, what we do every week is we get right into it. You go into a state of connecting into your higher guidance.
Yes.
And then I speak to that higher guidance.
Absolutely.
So whenever you're ready
see
to do that,
see what happens, hey? No plans, no agenda, just see where we go. So yeah, let's do that. All right, sounds good.
So for those of you watching, what Marcus just said, there are no plans, there is no agenda. We don't talk about the topic of the episode. Marcus connects into higher guidance, galactic guidance, and that is his spirit mentor, Ameed. If you want to know about how Marcus started to connect to Ameed, you must go back to the very first episode, and it's an incredible story. And then Ameed comes through, and Marcus actually starts to sound very, very different. And because it's not Marcus, it's Marcus is just bringing the energy of Ameed through. And then I have a beautiful conversation with Ameed, which I'm excited to have.
There's much of the joyness that we are being in of this the moment, this of the Eleni. Much of the joyness. There's much of the joyness to be in of the energeticness, of the energetic quality of what you might wish to be calling of the essence of the spirit. Just much of the niceness to be feeling into this aspect, and this is the one of the aspects that we are wishing for you all to be in of the enjoyment of being in of the essence of the spiritness, be in of the essence of the energetic quality that you are being of the sharing, that you are being of the expressing, and we are much of the enjoyment of and the loving of being in of the energetics of the experience.
Beautiful. I'm also of the joy of being in the experience of your essence, Ameed. And my question this week is, Marcus has a very clear communication channel with you. And I know I've asked this question previously, but I know that depending on what time I'm asking and what's going on, the answer might be a bit different. So for the rest of us who don't have this clear communication channel with our spirit team, where we want to receive clear advice, clear guidance, clear instructions about how to jump off that plane. Can you give us some guidance about how we can connect very clearly to our spirit team?
This is much of the request that we are sensing of the into, is that you are wishing to be connecting in and be communicating with your mentor, as we would wish to be of the calling it. Because what you must be of the remembering is each one of you has a connection to and a mentor with what you might be of the calling more of the evolvedness and the more of the conscious reality state. What you must understand is that we are on or in our energetic of the spaceness, or in our of the planetness, and we are much in of the connecting into and being of the assistance for other of the species to be of the expanding nature into the awakened consciousness state. So what you will be finding is, once you have moved through of the pastness of the survivalness, moved through of the pastness of having to be of the doingness, to be in of the survivalness, then what you will be finding is that you will be expanding much more out into of the universal construct. And you too will then be of the taking your place to be of the mentor for other species who are in of this consciousness state of the survivalness, rather than being of the expansiveness and what you might be thinking of the abundanceness, where we are not being in of the workingness, we are being in of the assisting of the universal construct to be in of the expansive nature. And within this, we are helping other species to be in of the expansive nature. And we are wishing to be here to assist you through this evolutionary construct that you are moving of the throughness. We too were or have been in of the experience of this stage of the evolutionary process. So we are much understanding some of what you are being of the experiencing, even though this was on much of the time frames of the agoness. We too have been of the experience, and what we wish to be of the doing now is to be of the assistance of the expansionness of this of the universe. Therefore, we are coming here to be of the communication, to be of the assistance. And we, as in all of the channel experiences that you are being of the referring to, are of the same nature. That there is a desire, there is much of the callingness for the deepenness of the wisdom. And this is of the symbiotic nature, that you are being calling in for this of the wisdom and this deeper of the understanding. And we are calling in to be of the connection to and be of the assistance with your expansion. Therefore, what you must be of the understanding is there is a constant of the stream of messages, a constant stream of communication that is happening for each one of you. This is not what you might be thinking of the specialness. This is not of being of the reserve to just of the few people that have been selected. This is not the reality that is here to be experienced. There is much communication that is being sent down and through and into of the planetary construct. There is much of the mentors that are here to be assisting each one of you through this theme park that you'd be calling of the Earthscape, through this evolutionary construct, because whether you are of the believingness or of the not, you are connected intimately into the universal construct. You have come from the universe. You will be returning back into of the universe. This is but of a transient nature of experience, so that you can be of the assistance to expanding of the universe. And as you are doing this, you are moving into more of the restricted consciousness state, and your what you might thinking of your mission is to be in of the expansive state, to help the universe to continue to expand its consciousness. This is much what you are here to be of the doing, and we are here to then be helping you through this of the communication to be much more of the understanding of what you be considering of the what is being of the going on. So each one of you is receiving of the communication, but much like of the radio-ness that you have in your what you call it, the motor of the cars, you are tuning into the frequency of the radio station, and then you will be receiving of the messages and of the information. So you are asking, how do we connect in and how do we receive the very much of the clearness of the communication? And we be saying that the communication is already being of the happening, that you do not need to start of the communication. It is already being of the shared with you. It is always being of the shared with you. What you are looking at of the doing this is to be tuning into this communication, to be in the receptivity of this communication, to be in the openness of this communication. But what you will often be finding is there is much a part of you that is not in of the what you might consider of the believingness or of the letting go-ness or of the open to be of the receivingness. This is much of the difficultness that you are being of the starting with when you are trying to be in the connecting in. Once you are in of the connecting in, then you will be much of the receptivity and you will be tuned in, and it is then very much of the hardness to be tuned out. And you have to do much of the effort to be tuned out once you are connected in. So what you are here to be of the asking is, how, Ameed, do we be of the connecting in? This is much of the interesting question, because this is much of you being of the releasingness to be in the receptivity of it. As much as you being of the tuning into of the receivingness, because you are already of the receiving. So sometimes there is a process where you can be of the automatic of the writing. Sometimes you can be process of the meditation and be in of the receptivity and be listening for of the resonance of the communication. You can be feeling into of the resonance of the communication. And sometimes you have to be in of the believingness before you're being of the receivingness. Sometimes you have to be in of the space, be in the readiness of the space to be in of the receptivity. And often there is the what you might be thinking of, a part of you that is of the nervousness and of the worriedness to be in of the receiving. Because within of the receiving there is what you might be perceiving as the greatness of the responsibility to then be in of the sharing of what you are being of the receiving. And therefore there is a part of many of you that are feeling into this in this moment, that are in of the worriness. Even when you are experiencing smallness of the amount of the worriness, you are interfering with the resonant frequency connection that you can be in the receptivity of. So you need to be much of the releasing, much of the what you might consider of the letting go of any of the worriness or any of the concernness or any of the doubtingness that you are receiving information or in the not. You are always in of the receiving information. You just now need to be tuning in to be of the familiarity with what it is that you are actually receiving. Because, Miss Eleni, sometimes you be thinking, I wonder where that thought being of the coming from. I wonder where I received that information. Where was that coming from? And you might be experiencing as you are moving about in your in existence that you are receiving these little of the sparks, these little of the epiphanies, these little of these messages, or what you might consider of an insight, or some of the awareness, and you are thinking to yourself, oh, well, that was the being of the unusual, and that just sort of being popping into my of the head. And this popping in of the head is the messages that you are being of the receiving. So when you are being in of the thinking of this, be in of the tuning in to be of the receiving more of this of the information, more of this of the messages. And know that many of this is coming from your mentor, not just from popping in of the head, not just from a spark of light in of the brain that has activated a new and different of the thought, but actually this has been of the gifted in and through you to spark of a thought within of your brain, so that you can be thinking and be of the epiphany and be of the insight that seems to be just popping into of the head. This is not happening. This is part of the communication that you are being in of the receiving.
Beautiful. I love it. Is there anything else, you'd like to share with us today?
Much important just to be knowing that this is of the happening all of the time, that the messages are being of the coming through all of the time. You are never in of the disconnection. You are never in of the not receiving information. You are never in the space of the nothingness. You are always being in of the receiving. This is just about being of the invitation to allow the receiving to be of the register within of the mindscape, to be of the spark of inspiration, if you being of the wilderness, the spark of inspiration, spark of the insight, and to being allowing yourself to open up and to be hearing these of the messages. And it is much of the funniness, because some of you are wishing for this to be happening so much that you are almost in the bursting. And in of the bursting, this is part of the pushing of the awareness. You need to be in of the openness and be in of the relaxation and be in of the letting go. Any of the urgency, any of the wishingness, any of the forcingness is creating disharmonic resonant patterns that are interfering with of the signal. So then what you are being hearing is some of the static. But every now and then you'll be hearing of the radio station, but then it disappears again. And you have this in and of the outness that is going on. But when you are be relaxing in on it and allow it to be of the appearing, not that you want it to be of the appearing, not that you don't want it to be of the appearing, but you are just there ready for it to be of the appearing. It will be, connection will be made clear when you are fully in of the readiness, when you are fully in of the, what you'd be calling the letting go-ness and the releasingness. Then you will be hearing of the messages. Then you will be connected into the receiving. And then you will never not be connected in ever of again. This is the fun part. This is much of the joyness.
Thank you so much, Ameed. Thank you so much.
Much of the blessings. And Miss Eleni, you're just keeping of the ears open. Be keeping of the ears open, and you will be hearing the messages very much of the soonness. Much of the love. There is much we wish to be sharing with you. We are feeling of the readiness, very much of the soon. Much love. Hello.
Hello.
How did we go?
Very good, very good.
That's good.
The question was about how do we connect with our spirit guides the way that you connect with Ameed?
Yeah.
And, said a couple of things. One is that we're always being spoken to throughout the whole day. Messages are always coming through to all of us.
Yes.
It's that we don't believe them.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that some of us, me included, some of us are bursting so, like, we want it so badly, like this type of clear connection that you have. Like, there's messages I hear, but, yours is at a different level. And that is resistance. That kind of,
totally.
I want this so much kind of.
Yeah. You've got to think that sort of energy is not in line with sort of that who you truly are type of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not in that flow. It's not in that, it's that, that urgency. And it's not a great place to be in, so it's just opening up to, to allowing, to just receiving, I think.
Just allowing, receiving, trusting, surrender.
Trusting. Yeah.
Letting it all go, but at the same time, listening.
Totally. Definitely listening, because it's coming through, all the time. And, the biggest problem I had when I first connected was stopping it coming through all the time, because it keeps you awake at night, and was happening all the time. So, but that's all right. There is a process for making sure that doesn't necessarily happen, and you're not sort of tuned in 24/7 per se. But that's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that problem
not
happened
bad.
to me, I'd be like,
not a bad problem.
Yes? What did you want?
Yeah. It'll happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
Just keep breathing and just allow and just, and I'm sure it will happen.
Exciting. So basically, the message is that every single one of us is receiving messages all the time. We just need to make sure that we're listening. And the other thing is also, which, is to share.
Yeah.
Is to share what we receive, because these messages are not just for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're receiving these messages, surely they're to be shared.
Absolutely. They need to be shared. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, and one day it'll be just commonplace, and we all get to share and, the messages, I'm sure, are all quite sort of similar in a way, but just slightly different angles and slightly different ways. And it, just helps all of us to understand even more and
Exactly.
to know we're not alone.
Exactly. And then what Ameed said is that once we are actually really connected in, we can't
Yeah.
be not connected in.
No,
Like it's once we're in, we're in, we're
that's
locked
it.
in.
That's it. That is
And
very
and
true.
the other part to remember, just as we close off, is that
Yeah,
we are on planet Earth for a reason. That is to actually have a human experience. And
totally.
so, as much as we love, adore, and cherish our galactic guidance, we're here to have an
Totally.
experience, joy as a human.
Totally. Totally. This is a transient space, and maybe it's a bit like we're here on holiday from wherever we came from. And, when you're on holiday, you tend to try and make the most out of it, right? You don't just sit in your hotel room and do nothing. You get
Yeah,
out and you enjoy the beach and the mountains and the forests and the pool and the cafes and the restaurants and
yeah,
often you come home from a holiday to have a rest.
exactly. I have
So
a friend who's an entrepreneur. Oh, okay, say that word.
yep,
Who's an amazing businesswoman, and I can hardly say that word. And
yep,
she just has so much fun throughout all her days.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
totally.
this year she made it like the year of the star jump, and everywhere she goes, and she goes to a lot of places, you see her do her star
Doing
jump
star jumps. Okay, I love it.
midair,
That's
and she
hilarious.
has this childlike curiosity.
I
And I
love it.
tell you, this woman is getting
Love it.
wealthier and wealthier and wealthier because she
Yeah,
just follows
totally.
the joy. She just follows the
Yeah,
joy.
just follow the joy, follow the energy. Ameed often tells me to just follow the energy, and joy is part of that energy. So I
Yeah.
agree. I think the rest just unfolds, around you. So
Naturally. When you're
yeah,
in flow,
can't
it
not.
just comes, you
Can't
just
not.
receive it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
That's exactly how it works. So love it. Yay.
Thank you,
I hope
Marcus.
you enjoyed it. And yeah, please comment. And thanks so much, Eleni. And we'll see you soon. Hey?
Okay,
Yay. Bye.
bye. Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.